Drivers at one of Norwich's largest taxi companies have spoken about racist abuse. As the company revealed, every one of its foreign drivers have been a victim of the crime.
Periodically, it's something that happens off the cuff. It's never something that, you could put a specific time frame on it. It happens every week or so on. But you're always going to get that sort of thing in any job. It's not just taxis, it's retail as well, where you're going to get people who are going to always try and take on a driver or someone that's sort of in a position where they can, to be honest. And a lot of the time, especially with taxis, is we do deal with a lot of people who we pick up after they have been out, so they have been drinking. So obviously that loosens the tongue, so to speak, and that's where it comes from. It's sad, but it does happen.
Some protections have been taken by ABC taxi company to keep drivers from harm.
We protect the drivers. They have a panic button in the car, so they can press that panic button and another car will be dispatched to their location to make sure they're okay. We also do consider contacting the police if it is an emergency situation.
Hello.
One taxi driver is telling us his own experience about the racism.
I pick up a lady, elderly lady, from one point to another point. From A to B, we say. It was about half an hour journey. She was talking to me. She said, where are you from? I said, I am from this country, yeah. And then she said, how long you been in here? I said, 20 years, 22 years. She said, why you don't go back to your own country? I said, I'd like to stay in England. She said, no, you should go back to your own country. This is our country. This is what she said. I said, oh, there is lots of British abroad. Nobody say like that. It seems you don't like varieties. If there is no varieties, you cannot learn anything. People, they learn from each other. They are all family.
Many taxi drivers in this city have similar experience.
I am a taxi driver. I was racially abused and nothing was done about it. I took it to the police, but there was no evidence in my favour. If it had been another race and me racially abusing someone else, it'd be completely different. And that's because I'm white. I am a minority and I have been racially abused about that.
My experience as a taxi driver, I have faced a lot of issues with the people. But as you can see, this is a hackney carriage. So there's a lot of times that we get trouble and we call the police, they don't turn up. And there's a lot of people racist, calling you Asian, you go back to your country even though I've grown up here. And a lot of times that people, they get sick, they want to pay you, they call you Asian, they call you foreigner. I think the police should do something about it.
But whether racism nowadays is more apparent than it ever was.
I think it's becoming more extreme. I think as society has become more racially integrated, for the mainstream of society there's a greater level of understanding and tolerance. It is the case though that you do get extremists always, but they don't represent the majority of society.
Definitely since the Brexit apparently has stepped up a case of racism, but here in Norwich I've not experienced it, but I know it does exist. I'm not denying it, I'm sure it does exist.
For the taxi drivers who experience the racism, Councillor David responds to this issue.
I think that's a shame. The police are trained to recognise racism and to deal with it, and the law protects people from racism, and if you can't rely on the police then there is a problem there. There is a police complaints procedure that people can use, and I think they should use it, and the police have diversity teams as well who can make sure that the police officers who are actually dealing with crimes know what they're supposed to do and deal with it properly.
He also said that law protects people from racism and people should use law to keep them from harm.
The 2010 Equality Act protects everybody from racism regardless of what their race is, so I'm as protected as you are by that law. But what that means is that we've got to report it whenever it happens, and also those of us who know the law really ought to stand up in public and be supporting people who are victims, and if we see racism we ought to be challenging it in our everyday life as well.
Racism does exist in our city, but it's still hard to say figures can draw a conclusive evidence of rising racism. Also, it seems hard to draw conclusions from people's verdict on their own prejudice.